Hello, everyone, and welcome back to English for Everything. I am Alex.
And I am Emily. Today, we are going to talk about a very powerful idea: how to stay motivated by learning to enjoy effort.
Yes, this idea is inspired by Dr. Andrew Huberman's explanation about dopamine, motivation, rewards, and hard work.
And this topic is very useful for English learners because learning English is not always easy. Sometimes you feel tired. Sometimes you feel slow. Sometimes you think, why am I not improving fast?
Exactly. But today, we want to help you understand something important. If you only focus on the final result, like speaking perfect English, getting a certificate, or impressing people, the process can feel painful.
But if you learn to enjoy the process, the small practice, the mistakes, and the daily effort, learning becomes much easier and more powerful.
Before we continue, please subscribe to our channel, English for Everything. If you are learning English and you want simple, clear, and meaningful podcasts, this channel is for you.
Yes, subscribe and keep practicing with us. Now, let's begin.
Emily, let me ask you something. Why do most people work hard?
Most people work hard because they want a reward. A student studies because they want good marks. A worker works hard because they want money. A person exercises because they want a healthy body.
That is true. Rewards are not bad. Success, money, marks, and appreciation can be good things.
But the problem begins when we only work for the reward.
Yes, Dr. Huberman explains that when we focus only on the reward at the end, we may start to dislike the effort itself.
For example, imagine a child who loves drawing. The child draws because drawing feels fun. No one forces the child. The child simply enjoys it.
Then one day, adults start giving the child a reward every time the child draws. Maybe a gold star, a gift, or praise.
At first, the child may feel happy. But later, when the reward stops, the child may not want to draw anymore.
That is very interesting. The child loved drawing before the reward, but after getting rewards, the child started thinking, I draw because I get something.
So the activity itself becomes less enjoyable.
This is called the difference between intrinsic motivation and extrinsic motivation.
Intrinsic motivation means you do something because you enjoy the activity itself.
For example, you read a book because you enjoy learning. You practice English because you enjoy understanding new words.
Extrinsic motivation means you do something because you want an outside reward.
For example, you study only because you want marks. You work only because you want praise. You exercise only because you want people to say, wow, you look great.
Again, outside rewards are not always bad. But if they become the only reason, then effort can feel heavier.
And this is very important for English learners.
Yes, if you only think, I want to speak English perfectly, you may feel frustrated every day.
Because every mistake will feel like failure.
But if you think, every day I practice, I am becoming better, then the effort itself becomes meaningful.
This is close to what we call a growth mindset.
A growth mindset means you believe you can improve through effort, practice, and learning.
It means you don't say, I am bad at English. You say, I am not fluent yet, but I am improving.
That word, yet, is very powerful.
Yes, I cannot speak fluently yet. I do not understand fast English yet. I cannot write perfectly yet.
This mindset changes your relationship with effort.
Dr. Huberman says that we can learn to connect effort with reward. In simple words, we can train ourselves to feel good while working hard.
But Alex, this sounds strange. How can someone enjoy hard work when hard work feels painful?
Good question. It does not mean you pretend that pain is not there. It means you tell yourself, this difficulty is part of my growth.
So, when you are practicing pronunciation and your mouth feels tired, you can say, "This effort is helping me."
When you are listening to English and you don't understand everything, you can say, this confusion is part of learning.
When you make mistakes while speaking, you can say, "This mistake is training my brain."
Exactly. You are not lying to yourself. You are giving the effort a new meaning.
Instead of saying, "This is painful, so I should stop," you say, "This is difficult, so my brain is growing."
That is the magic.
Many people want motivation before they start. They want coffee, music, praise, or excitement.
Yes, and sometimes those things help. But if you always need something before effort, then effort becomes dependent on outside things.
For example, if you always need coffee before studying, then one day without coffee, you may not study.
If you always need motivation before speaking English, then on a normal day, you may stay silent.
So, the better way is to create motivation inside the effort.
That means you start even when you don't feel perfect.
You practice even when you feel shy.
You continue even when it feels slow.
And slowly, your brain learns. Effort is not my enemy. Effort is my path.
Beautifully said.
Let's give a simple example for our audience.
Sure. Imagine you want to improve your English speaking. You decide to speak for 5 minutes every day.
On day 1, you feel uncomfortable. You forget words, you pause too much, you feel embarrassed.
If you focus only on the final goal, you may think, I am not fluent. This is useless.
But if you focus on effort, you think, I spoke for 5 minutes today. That is progress.
And then you say, the effort is the reward.
After some days, your brain starts to feel proud during practice, not only after success.
That is when learning becomes powerful.
This can also help with exercise, work, reading, writing, and any skill.
Yes, the key lesson is this. Do not wait for the trophy to feel rewarded.
Feel rewarded because you are showing up.
Feel rewarded because you are trying.
Feel rewarded because you are becoming stronger.
Many people quit because they don't see results quickly.
But results usually come after repeated effort.
And if you hate the effort, you will probably stop before the result arrives.
But if you learn to respect the effort, you can continue for a long time.
That is how people become good at something.
Not because every day is easy.
But because they learn to stay with the difficult days.
For English learners, this means don't only celebrate when you speak perfectly.
Celebrate when you learn one new word.
Celebrate when you understand one sentence.
Celebrate when you try to speak, even with mistakes.
Celebrate when you listen again and again.
Because these small efforts are building your future fluency.
And remember, fluency is not magic. Fluency is repeated effort.
So today's lesson is simple. Do not only love the result, learn to love the effort.
And when it feels hard, don't think something is wrong.
Think, this is the moment where growth happens.
For our English learners, here is your small challenge for today.
Practice speaking English for 5 minutes. Choose any topic, your day, your family, your dream, your favorite food, or your future plan.
While speaking, don't worry about perfection.
Focus on the effort.
After 5 minutes, say to yourself, I practiced. I improved. I am proud of the effort.
Do this every day, and slowly you will feel more confident.
And confidence comes from action, not from waiting.
That is a beautiful place to end today's podcast.
Thank you for listening to English for Everything.
If this podcast helped you, please subscribe to our channel.
And share it with a friend who is learning English or trying to stay motivated.
Remember, don't only chase the result,
Learn to enjoy the effort.
because effort is where real growth begins.
See you in the next episode.
Take care, keep learning, and keep growing.